It's Ebony LaShawn here, and today I'm going to be telling the story of how I became a full-time front-end software engineer and spent $0. I'm sharing this story because when I was on the other side trying to break into tech, it was pretty hard to find stories from folks who looked like me that didn't involve like predatory income share agreements, scammy boot camps, spending loads of money on student loans. I was really trying to find examples of folks who made the career transition and the career pivot but didn't spend a ton of money, and it was hard to find. So I'm putting my story out there for anyone who's also on that journey, or anyone who's curious about that journey, or just nosy and wants to know how I did what I did and get the resources and opportunities to share with a friend or a loved one who's on that journey. I got y'all, okay? Quick facts about me. My name is Ebony LaShawn. I am 27 years old. I currently live in the Bay Area, California, and I've been a full-time software engineer for approaching 2 years. A few disclaimers before I get into the quick story. Education-wise, I went to a really great elite private school, a top 10 school at the time that I graduated. I studied international studies and I had no technical background. I think I took a computer science class and I dropped it after a week because I was overwhelmed and then didn't think I could do it. I say that to share that, like, yeah, I really started from zero, but also so that you know, like, I did graduate from a pretty rigorous school and curriculum, and so I did know my study patterns, and I have experienced learning new things before, and I am really comfortable with learning new things, and I think that that was an advantage in my journey that I want to call out. Let's get into how the frick this happened. It's kind of wild telling the story back, and it all happened so fast. So let's start with phase one. At the time, I was working as a research and consulting associate, doing mostly like project managerial type stuff for consulting projects. This was about 2020, beginning of 2020, when I started being open for other opportunities. I just didn't really see a clear progression path at the company I was working at. I didn't feel like I was growing any skill sets. And honestly, like, the salary wasn't going to allow me to live the lifestyle that I wanted to live. So I knew I had to find another alternative. I was considering going to law school, but I didn't want to go back to school. I didn't want to take on like hundreds of $1,000s in student loans. I didn't want to not work full time. Like, I just didn't think it would be the best path for me. And so I'm like at my computer one day. This is March 2020, to set some context. I'm just researching jobs that don't require a college education or an advanced degree, that pay you well and that have good growth over time in the market and good demand. Software engineering, naturally, was one of the first roles that came up. And I'm like, okay, what will it take for me to become a software engineer? Well, I'm doing research and I'm realizing that there's like self-taught people. There's like a very small community of folks who are non-traditional software engineers. And by non-traditional, I mean they just didn't study computer science, or maybe they don't have a 4-year degree. Maybe they didn't finish the 4-year degree. And they're all like, a lot of them are just thriving and crushing it in their jobs and sharing their stories to inspire other folks who are interested to take that leap. So I'm like, okay, let's figure out the way that I can become a software engineer and take on the least amount of risk, because I'm a very risk averse person, especially when it comes to me spending some coin. I'm like, I want to make sure I actually enjoy the work day to day and actually enjoy this before I come out my pockets. So I balance my full-time job with part-time self-study. This looks like using a bunch of free resources like Free Code Camp, YouTube tutorials, just browsing through W3 schools and MDN on the weekends. And it was very casual. I would probably say I spent between 5 to 10 hours poking around, just really trying to familiarize myself with web development, like the very bare bones of web development. And I realized that, like, it was pretty interesting. I didn't find the concepts that I was learning to be boring, and they kind of were clicking for me with like relative ease. I was looking for other opportunities to continue my learning, but I needed a little bit more accountability and structure. And this is how I came across, and I think I was scrolling on Facebook one day and I saw someone posted about this. I came across an organization that changed my life, hands down changed my life, an organization that I love so much. This organization is called G Code. On social media, you can find them at G Code House, I believe. It is an organization that's all about empowering women and non-binary people of color through providing technical skills, and also there's a whole nother part of their mission that's all about providing housing as well. So like, just a beautiful organization. It's run by Black women, women of color, and it's just such a really special place. And I'm so privileged that I was able to apply to G Code, interview, and get accepted into their second cohort. I got accepted into the cohort. It started, I believe, in September, October-ish of 2020. So this is about a few months after I have been self-studying on my own with a full-time job. We had classes on weekends, so it was very flexible and accommodating to people like me who weren't quite ready to fully jump into a boot camp but wanted to continue their learning. We had classes Saturdays for 5 hours. We had very light homework assignments and required reading, and then we had individual projects, partner projects, and one big group project as well. This program lasted 5 months. I graduated in December 2020, and I really gave the program my all. I was like always trying to crush it on the quizzes. I was always raising my hand to ask and answer questions. I really tried to build relationships with the other amazing women and non-binary folks in my cohort, and truly it was a very transformative experience. It's like, imagine learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript alongside people who look like you, come from the same financial background as you, being taught by people who look like you. And it was just truly like such an empowering experience, and it made me feel like I could really do this, and like I had a support network of folks who were rooting for me. And I think that was so key because of not just what they taught me, but what they instilled in me in terms of confidence and in terms of support and community. So graduated from G Code December 2020. A few weeks after graduation, one of our instructors posted about a job opportunity in our Slack group. It was an apprenticeship and learning opportunity sponsored by the company that I currently work for. The structure of the program was you'll take 3 months of an online boot camp completely free, and then you'll do a 3 to 6 month apprenticeship with the company and have the opportunity to be given a full-time return offer. The kicker for me was not only did you not have to pay for the boot camp or anything, you would be getting paid the entire time to learn. I was like, this opportunity has my name all over it. Like, I want to take the next step. I want to full-time commit to becoming a software engineer. But sweetie, I have bills. Like, I don't come from family money. I'm very financially independent. I don't ask my parents for anything and have not asked them for anything in a very long time. So I knew I needed I needed something. And the fact that they were gonna pay me to learn just like blew my mind. My battery died. Hopefully the angle is still the same. Anyway, I just thought, yeah, it was an amazing opportunity. I applied, interviewed, did the pre-work, and was accepted. And this brings us to phase 2 of our journey, which is online boot camp plus apprenticeship. The boot camp that the program gave us access to was through a learning platform called Treehouse. We did the full stack JavaScript boot camp, and we had 3 months to finish it. And it was intense. I remember finishing my final exam and my final project like 24 hours before the deadline or something ridiculous like that. And I had a lot of help and support from the other ladies who were a part of my cohort. There were 11 of us. I made it through the 3-month online learning phase, and I did a 6-month apprenticeship. This apprenticeship was a really amazing and just eye-opening experience. I was paired with multiple mentors to support me throughout my journey, which I really appreciated. I got to work in an enterprise code base. I got to work alongside other engineers and designers and product managers. It was just truly incredible. I was completely overwhelmed and like did not know what I was doing for probably 80% of my apprenticeship, but that's kind of the point. Like, you're learning and growing. I was paired with another apprentice and we worked on a big project over the whole summer. We got to demo our work to other folks in the org and it was just really, really cool. I learned a lot. And I was extremely, extremely excited because I actually got a return offer to join that org full-time as a software engineer. And so I started working as a full-time software engineer October 2021. Mind you, this is like a year after I started G-Code. So everything was just going so quickly. I want to call out a few of the things that I think helped accelerate my journey. The first, and this is like my favorite word, I've probably said it 20 times, but community. If I had not joined G-Code and been given access to a network of other women and non-binary people of color who were pursuing the same career interests, I wouldn't have known about the job opportunity. I wouldn't have had folks who were willing to review my application and practice interview with me. Community really was everything for me. I would not have found my job without that network. So my recommendation for anyone who's on this journey is to link up in whatever capacities you feel comfortable, whether that's virtually, in person. Link up with people who are also on the journey with you, share your goals with them, and exchange opportunities and information so y'all can support each other on this path. That would be my first recommendation. My second recommendation is to research. Spend hours researching. If you're interested in taking a boot camp route, spend hours researching different boot camps. Search them up with the word scan. Look at reviews from multiple websites. Talk to people who have done the boot camp who have jobs. Talk to people who have done the boot camp who don't have jobs. Collect as many data points as you possibly can so you can make an informed decision. If you are someone who is kind of like me and a bit more risk averse and you're like, I want to tread the waters a little bit before I fully commit to something more structured or intense, I highly recommend taking advantage of all the free resources that are available. Before you even do that, I would recommend carving out a realistic study plan that works for your schedule, your life, your obligations. If you have kids, if you have multiple jobs, maybe you'll only be able to do a couple hours on a weekend night. That is so okay, but you just have to know that and carve out that time. Because if you don't carve it out, in my personal experience, it's really hard to make it happen. But ultimately, I really want the major takeaway from this video to be that you can do this. You don't have to take on a ton of debt to get it done. You just have to keep your eyes and ears peeled for the right opportunities. Be patient and make sure you are ready for those opportunities when they do arise, that your resume, your interviewing, portfolio, whatever it may be, is up to date and on point so you can just get the opportunity and crush it and show them how brilliant you are. I just wanted to share my story. I'm happy to answer any questions in the comments. I will provide links to G-Code, their application if I can find it, if it's open at the moment. The apprenticeship that I did, I'm also gonna link. You will see the name of my employer. Please just keep it out of the comments. All the free resources I mentioned, like Free Code Camp, any YouTube tutorials and videos that I really liked, I will drop as well. And I have a blog called codenewbiechronicles.com where I also share free game, free resources. I will link that there. There is no email sign up. I have no courses. I have nothing to sell. Truly, it's just like all 100% free, no obligation. So check it out if you're interested. Also, please give this video a thumbs up if anything that I shared was helpful or interesting. I'm going to be posting so many more videos about my experience. I'm going to be posting technical content, learning series as I try to attempt to learn Java. I'm going to be posting about the day in the life of being a software engineer. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I got you. I also post study with me videos if you ever need a virtual study buddy. Everything that I have to say for now, but I will definitely expand on any points that folks are interested in. Just let me know. I hope everyone has a great rest of your day, and I'm so excited to see where you end up if you are on your journey, and I'm rooting for you. I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.